Pedro Arupe was a much-loved superior general of the Jesuits during the post-conciliar period from 1965 to 1983. His cause for beatification is in process. One of his best-known quotes reads as follows: "What you are in love with, what seizes your imagination, will affect everything. It will decide what gets you out of bed in the mornings, what you do with your evenings, how you spend your weekends, what you read, what you know, what breaks your heart, and what amazes you. Fall in love, stay in love, and it will decide everything." I think there is no better description of what it means to fall in love. Falling in love, whether it is with God, other persons, things, or oneself, affects everything. Therefore, the question for each one of us today is, what am I in love with? In the Gospel today, we have the risen Lord asking Peter 3 times, "Simon, son of Jonah, do you love me more than these?" As far as the language goes, that means 2 things equally well. First, it may be that Jesus swept his hand around the boat and its nets and equipment and the catch of fishes and said to Peter, "Simon, do you love me more than all these things? Are you prepared to give them all up, to abandon all the hope of a successful career, to give up a steady job and a reasonable comfort, in order to give yourself forever to my people and to my work?" Secondly, it may be that Jesus looked at the rest of the little group of disciples and said to Peter, "Simon, do you love me more than your fellow disciples do?" Jesus asked this question 3 times, and there was a reason for that. It was 3 times that Peter denied his Lord, and it was 3 times that his Lord gave him the chance to affirm his love. Jesus, in his gracious forgiveness, gave Peter the chance to wipe out the memory of the 3-fold denial by a 3-fold declaration of love. "Lord, you know that I love you." We must note that Peter was genuinely in love with Jesus. Jesus alone remained his real treasure, especially after the resurrection of Jesus. The tireless and exemplary missionary activities of Peter vouch for the fact that he allowed God's love, Jesus' love, to guide the decision and actions of his life. It brought Peter a task, and it brought him across. He shouldered the responsible task of shepherding the sheep and the lambs of his master's flock, and he died for his Lord. He too went to the cross, and he asked to be nailed it head downwards, for he said that he was not worthy to die as his Lord had died. Dear friends, what about us? Why do you and I follow Jesus? Is he our real treasure? Are we really and genuinely in love with him and constantly allow his love to affect our decisions and actions? Each of us can intellectually assert in our head and say, "Of course, my treasure lies in God, and God is my one and only love." But the tragedy would be to feel secure in this delusion of self-congratulation without really doing the hard and sometimes uncomfortable work of examining whether or not that is actually true. In the theology of the Eucharist, we read about anamnesis, the memorial character of the Holy Eucharist. In every Holy Mass, we recall and remember what Christ has done for each one of us and remind ourselves of our responsibility. Taking inspiration from this, let us refresh our memory of how Jesus acted in our life. Romans 5:8 tells us, "God proved his love for us in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us." And having known what Jesus has done for each one of us personally, Let us say yes to his love and friendship by doing what he asks of us. For he has said, I call you friends if you do what I command you. Like Peter, when asked 3 times by Jesus, do you love me? Let us say from our hearts, yes, Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you. May the risen Lord help us along this path. God bless you.